From London, wrestling fans, I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. On a day where Clark has gone on strike from the podcast following wild and false claims that last night's quiz was rigged against him. Completely untrue. Roman Reigns has also decided to not show up for work tonight, as tonight's Raw will be the first time in years a world champion has not appeared on the WrestleMania Go Home Raw show. However, Cody Rhodes will be showing up and taking on Solo Sikoa just 6 days before the biggest match of his career. But joining me today to discuss all of this and answering your questions on Mailbag Monday, Anthony Ricciardi. How are you, Anthony?
Doing all right. I'm here because I'm contractually obligated to be here, but otherwise I'd probably be on strike with Clark. But continue. I mean, I did win yesterday, so that helps.
You're striking against the man who you beat. But yeah, if you guys haven't checked out yesterday's quiz episode, please check it out. It actually was an absolute banger of a show. But yeah, let's get right into tonight's Raw and discuss it, because of course it's the go-home show for WrestleMania. It's crazy. WrestleMania is this Saturday. We're going to be there. It's going to be a blast. But yeah, on tonight's show, Cody Rhodes, just 6 days before he will take on Roman Reigns, will be facing the Bloodline's Solo Sikoa. And I'm absolutely certain this match is going to be a banger. Cody almost certainly needs to win the match unless it's a DQ and Roman comes out of nowhere and takes him out, which is what I'm at least hoping will happen, because Roman needs to be on the show. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously risky having your challenger be in a match just 6 days before his, WrestleMania main event. But still, it feels like it's a big match, and I'm looking forward to for the spotlight to be on Solo Sikoa, as he undoubtedly deserves it. But Anthony, what are your thoughts heading into this match?
I mean, that's the thing. I think it is a little dangerous for Cody to wrestle a match, but quite frankly, he's been wrestling matches even on house shows. So, it is a risky move to do that. I don't expect anything too over the top tonight because, again, I think they're smart enough to know that they don't want to risk any potential injury. So I don't think the solo match is going to be super long. Could I see the Bloodline coming down and taking Cody out? Yeah, whether or not Roman's a part of that group, I don't know. I think the only certainty is probably Roman's going to be on SmackDown, but I don't know if he's actually going to do both Raw and SmackDown. He should. I don't know if he will, but I think. But I mean, if he does appear, it's probably he's going to come out of nowhere and spear Cody. I would think the Usos would come down, try to take down Cody. KO and Sami will come down to chase them off. And then while Cody's not paying attention, Roman will pop up behind him and spear him. That would to me would probably be the smart booking decision to do if he's there.
I mean, listen, if I was, because the go-home episodes of, Raw and SmackDown, or some of the, especially WrestleMania go-home show, some of the biggest viewerships for the shows, right? If I was the USA Network, I'd be pissed that the fact that the champion isn't on the show, especially that he's not advertised.
Yep.
I would not be happy, but there we are, and especially considering USA has to be the favorite for both shows heading into the renegotiations for the television deal, so it just makes no sense. But we got Matt Williams in the comments saying that he is here to say that the Schism versus Chase University is his most anticipated match for WrestleMania weekend. Any thoughts on that, Anthony?
I am curious. The thing that I'm most curious about that match is The Rock's daughter, because we haven't seen her wrestle. So to me, that to me is the most interesting part of this, because she'd be fourth generation. I'd be very curious to see how she does in the ring. I think their reason they probably were holding her off, I mean, other than I think she did get injured, right? Wasn't that the original thing?
She did have an injury.
I think part of the reason we haven't seen her is they wanted to make sure she was as fit as she could be before we saw her for the first time, because the bar is incredibly high for her. The one thing I do want to touch on that you had mentioned, the USA Network probably would want Roman on there. The other factor is it's the same people that own Peacock. That's promoting. So I definitely think there would probably be more pressure on Roman appearing on both shows. like I said, I think a spear is probably the most likely if you.
Yeah.
Win.
But even just the fact they're not advertising him is bad. I mean, there's a lot of, speculation about a lot of people appearing on tonight's show, but not really anybody's advertised. I mean, I guess WWE's argument is going to be the challenger is not only on the show, but he's competing in a match on the show. So I guess that is the argument which they're making. And
there is a safety net there, though, especially because it's the go-home shows. They feel a little safer in going, we don't really have to advertise it because people are going to watch it. A lot of people are probably going to watch it anyway because it's the go-home show to Mania. I think that's the safety net thing with them.
Yeah. I mean, Lesnar, I said nobody's, advertised. Lesnar is advertised. Yeah. But Matt Williams is asking, is Roman Reigns taking a leave after... Sorry, is the rumors that Roman Reigns is taking a leave after WrestleMania true? Well, we don't really specifically comment on rumors.
We don't officially know that, but we all think that we think so.
Yeah.
I think he'll be out, Matt, at least until SummerSlam would be my guess, but that's just a strict guess on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to comment on it because quite simply I've heard something. So I'm not going to specifically get into that one. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But one thing I'll say is if he does drop the titles, he deserves a break. He really, really does. Chaos is in the comments going, she will have a Rocky Mania performance. Wait, what?
Rocky Maivia, when The Rock debuted at Survivor Series back in the day in 96. 95.
I didn't even get that for a second.
I know where he's going with that.
But any idea on the status of Chelsea Green, numero 1 Superfly, is asking, and it's Mailbag Monday, so we'll just answer these.
Okay.
The status of Chelsea Green, we don't know why she was off television last week. Where was the show last? It wasn't America. It was in, what's it called? So I don't actually know why she was not on the show last week.
I think I saw something that she made some comment that she wants to be the Raw GM. But I don't know whether or not that was directly from her or not. But I mean, I think she's fully embraced this Karen-like character that she's playing. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I wouldn't be opposed to them having a faction with her and was it Carmella she's teaming up with?
Yeah, no, I think the question was more so the fact that Chelsea Green was mysteriously
why she wasn't there, that I don't know.
Because Carmella was there on both shows.
Yeah.
Chelsea Green was not. I mean, there's, a lot of things possibly, I mean, COVID's still not done. People are still having to isolate from time to time about, if they do have that in WWE. But it could be there could be a personal thing. There could be an injury. I mean, that's always an option, but we've not heard anything about an injury. So as far as I know, it's probably nothing long-term, hopefully.
I don't think it's anything to really worry about at the moment.
I think we'd know about it if it was.
Yeah.
So hopefully she'll be back on WWE TV tonight because like you touched upon, Anthony, she has really embraced this gimmick. And it's a stupid gimmick that I don't really think, not a stupid gimmick, it's entertaining, but I think it's going to get old quick. So
she's making it work for the time being. Yeah. So let's see where it goes from here. Yeah.
And the fact that, she said that this is the gimmick she wanted as well was quite surprising, but it's, let's hope it worked for her. And putting her and Carmella together, I really do think is a good idea. So not something I'm going to complain about at all. But now on to the next segment, which is going to be a weigh-in for Brock Lesnar versus Omos tonight on Raw. I mean, Omos is obviously going to weigh a lot more. We're probably going to get a couple of cool visuals again. I mean, we've said it over and over again. From an in-ring standpoint, we're not excited for this. But it's an attraction. It's getting mainstream appeal. That is what it's doing. But there's not really much to say. I imagine the segment would be quite fun. And this Brock Lesnar face gimmick in these types of segments is working really, really well. So I'm not too worried right now about this segment. I think it'll be entertaining to watch. But how the match goes on Saturday or Sunday, we're going to have to wait and see. But the F5 will hopefully be a cool moment. But what are your thoughts, Anthony?
I'm curious whether or not a fan in the front row is going to get hit with a scale because somebody almost got hit with Gunther when he tossed the table on Friday. So it'll be interesting to see if somebody gets nailed with a scale, if that gets launched. But I mean, it's going to be a segment where they're emphasizing how big Omos is and how they're building it in the way of going almost like Brock's the underdog here. even though Brock is obviously the seasoned veteran, multiple-time world champion, dominant champion. So, like, I think they're trying to build it like that, where, like, almost is like the unstoppable force, you know, and the Brock has to overcome it. It's almost like they're trying to recreate Hogan and Andre WrestleMania 3. Will Brock be able to F5 almost? I think that's where they're at least marketing this, at least to some type of attraction, I'm thinking.
Yeah. No, I think that's certainly what they want to do. And I mean, Chaos is in the comments here saying, you guys ready to see the worst F5 ever at Mania? I mean, listen, from a visual standpoint, it might look cool. It also might look awful, but it could look cool. And I think that's what they're hoping for. I mean, here's the thing. If you guys watch the People's Podcast on the Wrestling Public YouTube channel, and if you haven't, make sure you do because it's a great show. They were talking the other day and they were discussing, and the clips are going to go on the Instagram later tonight, but they were discussing how they think Omos needs to win this match because if he loses this, and of course he lost to lost to Lashley a couple months ago as well. It's not looking good for him if he really does take this loss. Not Lashley. I'm all over the place. I meant Strowman.
But I agree. I mean, especially if Brock is on his way out, because there have been reports that his contract's up at Mania, which his contracts usually are up at Mania, right? I mean, that's typically what they are.
He's confirmed this is his last match in his deal.
Okay.
That's confirmed.
So tradition holds that when you're leaving, well, even if he's coming back down the road, which he probably will because it's Brock and they offer him a shit ton of money to come back, he should lose on the way out. A win over Omos really does nothing for Brock. However, an Omos win over Brock does mean something. This is the guy that ended Undertaker's streak, which I still don't agree with. I still think that was a mistake. But still, you're beating somebody that's been undisputed champion. The guy's been dominant. I don't remember how many times Brock has held world titles at this point, but he's been multiple-time champion. He's a dominant guy. That, I think, would benefit Omos to pick up a win here. Really?
No, it certainly would. But yeah, I mean, we got Chaos again in the comments here saying, didn't Lesnar almost kill a fan with a car door?
I believe it was a red car door, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it a red car door, Chaos?
I didn't even. No, in fact, I vaguely do remember this.
He destroyed a red car. I forget why he destroyed it, but
I remember him carrying the door.
Yeah, he carried it. Yeah. He completely destroyed
carrying it though.
He completely destroyed the car on the set. I don't remember who the hell he was feuding with at the time when he destroyed it, but I do remember he destroyed it. Seth's car. Okay, now that makes sense. Gotcha.
I remember it, but I don't remember why. That is a bit of a weird one. But yeah, back when it was babyface Seth. But we've also got, moving on now to the next match. Segment announced for tonight's episode of Raw. There will be a go-home WrestleMania edition of Miz TV with special guests Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, and Lita. And yeah, of course, they're going to be facing Damage Control at WrestleMania in a match which I'm quite excited for. I'm not always the biggest six-man tag team. I'm not the biggest fan of six-man tag team matches, but I do think that it's going to be an entertaining one. But yeah, this segment tonight, Miz TVs are always entertaining. Hopefully it builds a bit more tension in this feud. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Anthony?
I mean, that's the thing. I'm not overly interested in a Miz talking segment as much because I kind of feel like they all kind of play out the same way. And they keep pushing him hosting WrestleMania, which honestly, of anything and coming up with WrestleMania, it's probably the least thing I'm looking forward to, the Miz hosting. Now that the Lashley Bray match is no longer on the cards. I mean, it's a competition between Omos and Brock versus Miz hosting is the least anticipated for me. The Damage Control match, I am glad that they are going to do the 6-person, only because it gives somebody like Io a WrestleMania match. And I totally think she does. deserve that. And I think it'll be a fun match. I don't expect something too crazy, but I think it'll be an entertaining match, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. And I mean, to be fair to your point, the Miz TV segments do often play a similar way. But him as a host, actually, I'm interested in it because I feel like there's quite a few good moments which could come off it. I mean, supposedly, a legend could come out. I mean, that's usually what happens with the host. They get taken out. We could get a Stone Cold. I'm hoping for a Rock appearance. I've said there should be a Rock appearance because if Rock really doesn't show up, that is.
It would be great if each night he gets taken out by a different legend.
That'd be sick.
that actually probably would be really good.
No, absolutely. I'm sure it'll be a WrestleMania moment. Like I have no doubt Miz is gonna be entertaining with it, to be truthful. But yeah, one thing which I'm questioning why it's really on the card, but the Street Profits are teaming up with Braun Strowman and Ricochet tonight to take on Chad Gable, Otis, and the Viking Raiders in an 8-man tag team match. And I believe these are the 4 tag teams who are going to be in the WrestleMania showcase match or whatever. So I think that's why it's on there. But
is that going to be a WrestleMania pre-show match, or is that going to be on the actual card?
They haven't said, but based on the fact they've not done pre-shows under Triple H, I'm presuming it's on the main card. But I mean, there's a lot of talent in it, to be fair. But I mean, it's just a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Really,
it really is. I mean, I don't even know where you would stick that because it's not a solid opener for Mania.
No.
And if you stick it in the middle, I almost feel like you stick it after like a major match where like people are going to the bathroom. Like I don't think it's a strong enough match to be on the card. To be honest, I almost think you dump that the same way you dump the Andre Battle Royal on SmackDown before Mania. Like I don't think it should be on Mania's card. Honestly.
No, I agree with you. I mean, the 4 tag teams in it, right? If we break it down, the Street Profits, fantastic. The Viking Raiders, fantastic. Strowman and Ricochet, they've actually really been entertaining me. And I'm not always the biggest Strowman fan, but this is some of Strowman's best work. And then Gable and Otis. I mean, they're great as well. They're entertaining. I mean, I actually think it's going to be a solid, fun match. I'm more excited for this one than the women's one, to be honest. Okay. But still, yeah, it's not. It's just good. There's no story there. I don't.
That's my problem with it. There's no story.
When there's no story, I don't.
Yeah, that's my opinion on that.
But we got a comment from numero 1 Superfly. Who going if Miz is going to be taken out by legends, won't it be similar to Heath Slater from Raw 1000 where he got beaten up by legends? Oh my gosh, that would be.
I mean, yeah, but at the same point, I think I'm okay with it because I think Miz could sell it really well, and it has been a while since Raw 1000 for them to do it, and quite frankly, it'll probably be. It's probably going to be somebody. I mean, hopefully, it's somebody like The Rock or Austin or some other big name to do it. Would be my guess. I don't think it's going to be like Sergeant Slaughter and the Iron Sheik taking him out. I think it's going to be a bigger name than that taking him out, if anybody does.
Yeah. And we got Matt Williams in the comments as well saying Chris Masters and Carlito didn't open WrestleMania for these jabronis to get a spot too.
Which Mania was that? I don't even remember.
I'm going to be honest with you, Anthony. I was hoping you would know that.
No, unfortunately, I don't know that one off the top of my head. I'm sure Matt will tell us.
It's time for Mailbag Monday, where we answer your questions which you have submitted via the Instagram story. And also, if you guys have any, because quite a few viewers today, if you guys have any questions, just drop them in the chat and we'll answer them there too. But we've got, firstly, Want Some Soul going, where is Roderick Strong?
WrestleMania 22.
Missing more than Chaos's hairline, to which Chaos replied, you wish you had my hairline, lol. That mop you have in your head is a lie. Well, I'll tell you what isn't a lie, and that's Soul's hair will be shaved on Thursday. Only a few more days until that'll happen. So that is exciting.
We need a countdown clock.
Yes, a countdown. We need to make one. But if I might even do it on the Instagram story. But the one thing we will say is to address the question, where is Roderick Strong? We haven't seen him in months, have we? I mean, the last
I
time we
mean,
saw him, he went away in an ambulance.
That's a question I have too, because we haven't heard anything, as far as I know, we haven't heard anything he's injured. So
he was injured. He's now cleared.
Okay. Well, how long has he been cleared? Do we know?
I think it's been some time. I think it was very light.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's been cleared for a while. Yeah. So the question is, like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
I think that's the question we all kind of have is like, okay, especially now, I'll be honest. I thought if any time they were going to pull him out, may have been now, as Cody's on his road, because he's the one guy that Cody was never able to check off that list when he left WWE. He's the one name. So I would not be opposed if they haven't. Obviously, they didn't do it yet. I don't know if they would do this. I'd have Roddy be the first one to challenge him. I really would.
Open challenge.
Yes. I would totally do it and have Roddy go out there going, I'm the one guy.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't mind that for the Raw after Mania. But here's the thing. Roderick Strong publicly asked for his NXT release just a few months ago. And he continued on NXT television for a couple more months before he was then written off. And he's not been released.
But was that after Triple H took over or prior to it?
After.
Because I know he wasn't happy during the 2.0 era. So I want to say it might have been before, but I don't know for certain.
Out right now, but I actually think it was after. But basically, find out for you. No, it actually was just before. You are right. Yeah, it was just before Triple H asked. But here's the thing: he was still in Diamond Mine doing nothing. Even once.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying it's a different.
He asked for his release. WWE declined the release because it was obvious at that time Bobby Fish was actually still with AEW, and it was clearly that they want to do the Undisputed Era.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, honestly, I'm going to be honest here. I'd have just let him go because he's not like he's really adding much value.
He's a hell of a talent. If he's booked right, he could put on a hell of a performance with just anybody. So I'm really kind of surprised. I'm kind of really hoping that he's one of the guys that come up after Mania. I think
the age thing might be too much of a concern. I really do.
I don't really know if that matters much.
No, it really does. I mean, we've seen it matters since Triple H has taken over still. It's blatantly the talents they're pushing. If you look at NXT, it's still the exact same way.
I think Roddy could get a fair shake on the main roster.
I mean, I hope you're right, but I mean, even the people they're signing now, it's still the exact same criteria as before Vince left. And I remember that was a Nick Khan command as well. And he is actually still, he's the top man now.
I get it, but there's really not that many top tier talent that's even available these days between WWE and AEW. They have everybody. Like realistically, they have. It's a very thin market. This is not, when Hunter was picking up all the people for NXT.
It's Nick Aldis.
Yeah, but there's questions with Aldis. I mean, Aldis has publicly said he thinks he's blackballed. Bruce Pritchard has publicly said he doesn't see anything in him. Bruce is still in a prominent position in the company. I don't know. I mean, that's public knowledge, so it's not.
No, I know. But it's just, I don't know. I've still heard very, thing that they're focusing on younger talents.
Well, I'm sure they are.
They want people on the main roster by the age of 30.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Roderick Strong's been an exception to that, but talking about potential people who might be exceptions to that, Melissa Robinson asks for part of Mailbag Monday, do you think we will get any surprise appearances on the Raw after WrestleMania? And there was one which was called months and months ago by Clark. I think it was by Clark. It might be by you, Anthony. I'm honestly upset constantly.
The funny part is, I think Clark called it, and I didn't see that one. And I think I was on the next show, and I said it, and Clark said it yesterday. I'm going, well, I guess we felt the same way. But yeah.
I mean, the one which everyone's thinking is the hottest free agent in professional wrestling right now, in my personal opinion, Jay White. I mean, I'm a big Jay White guy. At times, I know a lot of people in Japan didn't like him. And not just didn't like him because he's a good heel, but didn't like his stuff in ring. But I truly do think that he's perfect for WWE. I don't think you could get a more perfect talent than Jay White. For his slow style and all of that. It's very reminiscent of Randy Orton. I've used that comparison so much, but he's still young. He's like 30, I believe. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of you can do with him. I really do believe send him right to the main roster and make him a star right away, because give him the AJ Styles push, because while I'm not quite sure if he's as well known as Styles was. I think he might be slightly less, but even still, he's 8 years younger than Styles was when he debuted. So I think it could well be a good choice. But what are your thoughts, Anthony?
There are two talents that were in New Japan, and again, I don't watch a lot of New Japan, but the two that have always caught my eye were Jay White and Will Ospreay. Those are the two guys that I thought could succeed in literally any company. They are talents that completely reinvented themselves. If you look at Jay White when he first debuted, in the first time I saw him was in Ring of Honor when he was doing his excursion. Completely different wrestler than he is now. He definitely is phenomenal on the mic. He knows how to tell stories in the ring. He will do well in WWE, and I do think he would show up on the main roster. I think the obvious choice would be doing some type of Bullet Club, some variation of it.
Yeah.
So I do think that's a strong possibility. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to pop up on that Raw, and probably someone on that SmackDown after Mania. But I think Raw is going to be where you see the bulk of these ones that'll pop up, whether it's returning people, whether it's people coming in for the first time, whether it's people from NXT coming up. I do think traditionally the Raw after Mania is supposed to be the must-see Raw.
Yeah.
If you only watch one a year, it's typically that one. Now, granted, we want it that way because we're going to be there, but we're mentally gearing ourselves up for this, and it could be a major disappointment. Like we geared up for Rock and Roman, didn't happen. But you never know.
This is not Roman. This is Triple H's first Raw after
WrestleMania, first post Raw,
and he's the first Rumble he did was the letdown. He's done multiple things where it's the first time and we can get even more hype than usual, and it's kind of been a little bit of a letdown surprise-wise. Triple H is not good on surprises yet.
I think we expect a lot. In all fairness, we do. Our expectations are a lot higher with Hunter in charge because what he built up with Black and Gold. So our minds are immediately going, "Oh my God, he's got full control. This is going to be amazing." I think everything's a slow burn with him. Like I think he likes to do slow burn, but he understands the post Raw Mania.
Let's hope so.
One of his biggest moments of his career was the post Mania from WrestleMania 14. That's when he formed his version of DX, which really catapulted him from Shawn's sidekick to the main guy, and eventually, of course, led to the world titles and and everything else. I think we'll be fine. Although I may be on here the post Raw review the next day going, what the hell was that? So we'll find out in a few days.
We will.
In a week.
We'll be there as well. So
yes.
Flipping heck. But we got a couple of comments about this. Matt Williams is he is saying that a Jay White Seth Rollins program would be unreal, and I've got to agree with you there. I also would love, even though I compare them a lot, I think I'd love a Randy Orton Jay White feud as well.
I think a Seth Jay White, if they went him first, it would be yet again Seth becomes the guy. Yeah. Honestly, I would probably not do it until SummerSlam. It's going to be on a big show. Like when they do that, it's going to be a big show when they do that, I would assume. I'd be curious who Jay targets first. Cody's obviously a target. Anybody could feud with Cody, but at the same point, I don't know if you'd want Jay White to lose right off the gate.
I've got a prediction.
Okay, what do you got?
My prediction for Jay White's WWE debut is that John Cena is going to beat Austin Theory this Saturday WrestleMania, and John Cena will do an open challenge this Monday on Raw. And I think Jay White is going to answer it and win the US Championship, once again making the USA the US of Jay. And I think in his debut match, he's going to beat John Cena.
That would be amazing. By the way, does New Japan own that name, or does Jay White own the U? Because WWE would market the shit out of that.
True, that's true. I mean, I don't think they own it. I don't think they do. But even still, I'm sure there's another way you could quickly, mix it up or something.
Don't make it work.
Yeah, but and Matt Williams also says he's one of the few talents he thinks would do better in WWE than AEW.
Yes.
100%. His style would not get over in AEW. I said at the time, all the AEW fans, you very rarely, the people who were saying it were the ones who very rarely watch New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying, oh, he'd be great here. He doesn't fit that style. He's not fast-paced. You would say he's boring. He would not suit it at all. But Soul, once again, making the prediction he's always going to make, and that's Matt Cardona showing up. Soul thinks that Matt Cardona will appear on the Raw after WrestleMania. I mean, I guess it's a possibility.
One of these days, you may be right, Soul. Whether or not it's that, I mean, I would not be shocked if Lashley does end up with a match, assuming the Bray thing's done and it's not happening. If they do a Bobby match, I could see him doing an open challenge and Ryder answering it, and maybe it's a one-off. I mean, the only reason why I'm not 100% certain Cardona is coming in now. Now, granted, I don't think he's under contract to Impact. As far as I know, I believe he's a free agent. He did book a match for July at the old ECW arena against Bully Ray. Loser can never wrestle in there again. It is kind of odd that I mean, I don't know if WWE would let him go through with the match if he is signed, but they are usually pretty good with.
They have done a few times,
yeah. So I think they might be all right with it. And quite frankly, I don't think Cardona is. I mean, obviously he's a bigger name than when he left because he's kind of really elevated himself on the indies. But I don't think it's enough where they would go, no, you have to cancel that. I think it depends on what he's involved with at the time, storyline wise on TV. Like if he's in a high profile thing, they're not going to let him wrestle a match and get injured. But if he's, in the middle of the pack, they might go, oh, what the hell? Go wrestle your last indie match against Bully. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
We will have to wait and see, but it's it's one which I think maybe could happen. But I think he keeps screwing himself over. He did tons of WrestleMania weekend bookings just before the Rumble. He took them all. When there's a possibility that WWE could have contacted him last minute, there really is. And same with this now.
Especially since he contacted Chelsea, his wife, so it would make sense that they would have contacted.
WWE consistently book talents for the Rumble and Raw after Mania and all this stuff last minute. So I think he keeps shooting himself in the foot taking these bookings, to be honest. Come on,
man. I mean, at the end of the day, he needs to make a living. So if he doesn't know they're calling him, then I get why. At the same point, you can't sit back at the biggest weekend for any wrestler is WrestleMania weekend. You can't sit back and go, I'm not taking any bookings this weekend, in case they call. You can't do that either as a professional.
In his position, you can.
Yeah. I mean, I would think he probably has enough. I mean, he can contact Cody. We know he's close with Cody. And he could easily call Cody and go, hey, you find out if they have any interest in bringing me in before I take these bookings. And I think Cody could find that out for him if he really wanted to know.
I'm going to be honest. I think he could call Triple H. That wouldn't surprise me because they used to.
I mean, he did tell a story on his podcast that Triple H made fun of him when he had the title. Yeah, so I don't know how close they are, but at this point, you figure between Cody and Chelsea, one of those two should be able to find out whether or not they have any interest in him.
The next question is from Jacob.VL, who is asking if Roman Reigns retains his championship at WrestleMania, in order for him to make it to 1,000 days as champion, then who should he lose to? I mean, listen, we're presuming Reigns is going to lose at Mania. But what happens if he wins it? And he does get, the WWE can say that he's made it to 1,000 days. I mean, who then would he lose to? I mean, I'd personally say maybe Braun Breaker and put the next guy over, but I don't know.
I mean, the problem is, personally, I don't think I don't think Roman is going to win the match because
No,
I do think he's taking his break. But I mean, that's a problem that they would have if they had him go over just to swerve the fans. There's too much anticipation for a Cody win. I get it's predictable. I get all that, but realistically, Cody makes the most sense. His merchandise sells. He's over right now. If you're going to take Roman out, it makes the most sense. And we haven't had a babyface champion in over 900 days because Roman's been the heel champion. So we have not had a babyface champion.
We technically had McIntyre during that time as a face.
Not since Roman's. Oh, well, yeah, okay. You're talking about that. Yeah. But as far as WWE champion, I'll count the one belt. But, I think the 1,000-day mark would matter more if it set a milestone really for him. But realistically, he does have one of the longest reigns, but he's never going to catch Bruno. So it's not like if he was going to overtake Bruno for the all-time record, there's no way he's going to drop it. Like they want him to achieve that milestone. He's so far. I mean, no one's ever going to touch Bruno's all-time record. Like realistically, no one's ever touching that.
No.
Roman's already passed Punk, which I'm sure that was a priority to make sure that he passed Punk. So the 1,000 days is nice. Nick Aldis did it with the NWA title, which I thought was a nice touch, but I don't see him retaining. I just don't.
No. I mean, Matt Williams in the commentary makes a good point, and he's saying Solo Sikoa is the only other story you really have if he does retain. I mean, you also have perhaps Jey Uso as well, but
I think Jey might be the better story. I mean, realistically, Solo's not ready for that spot.
No.
He's not. I mean, the performance that Jey put on when he feuded with Roman really elevated himself from a strictly tag team guy to a guy that could be the guy. When you look at Roman's total reign here, he really did elevate multiple people to that position that people were okay if this person dethroned him. Cody's in that position. Sammy was in that position. And Jay's in that position. Like all three names were thrown out constantly as potential people that could dethrone him. And I think people were rooting in each of those camps of who's going to do it. So, as little as Roman's there, the time he was there, he made the most of it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because when he was in that ring, he put on a hell of a performance with everybody he was in there with.
Yeah, it's a good point. But yeah, Matt Williams actually backs you up there and says he doesn't see Solo or Braun as a viable threat at the minute. No, I mean, you could build them up or whatever, but it's a difficult situation. I mean, Cody needs to win. Cody's the obvious one. He needs to.
Cody's the obvious choice. I mean, and I'm saying that not just because, the leaked belts have popped up already. But like Braun, I could see if Cena doesn't win and doesn't the open challenge and have Jay White beat him, I would think Theory would win. He might do the open challenge and Braun might beat him for the belt. I think either way, I think Theory may end up losing the U.S. title on that post Raw.
Yeah. No,
or there'll be a new champion that post Raw. Let's put it that way.
I mean, I kind of hope that if Theory retains, I kind of hope he doesn't lose it. I hope they give him a proper good US run because at that point he's just beaten Cena. You don't want to take any of that momentum off him. But it is a difficult one to try and work out, really. I mean, there's a lot they can do post-Mania. There's so much they can do. There's more that they can do now than they could have done in years, to be honest with you. They've got so many up-and-coming talents. There's Jay White waiting for either WWE, AEW, or even New Japan to sign him. Well, New Japan's done.
No.
But
It's between WWE and AEW,
uh,
and I think it's a little telling that AEW has not signed him yet, which leads me to think that he probably is WWE bound, but who knows? He might show up on Dynamite on Wednesday. What do I know?
imagine that.
Yeah.
I fly in and find out Jay White. I get off the plane and find out Jay White's debuted for AEW.
He may be on the Ring of Honor show. Who the hell knows?
Really? He's better than...
He's been there before. He's been there before. I mean, listen, if you can't sign Vikingo and build Ring of Honor around him, you could probably do it with Jay White if you want. I mean, realistically, he's not going... AEW is too stacked, and that's the problem. Yeah. They have more talent than they know what to do with. So I don't think Jay would fit in there. We've said this, his style, and I just don't think it would connect. But I do think he's WWE bound, and I do think this time next week we may be seeing him.
Yeah. And talking about this time next week, well, this time tomorrow, Anthony will be in LA with Clark. Clark's committed one more day. And yeah, I mean, me, Kobe, Chaos, and Soul will be flying, and then on Wednesday's show, Anthony and Kobe will be doing it live from LA. Then me, Clark, Soul, and all, every Chaos, everyone will be there then the next day. So, but of course, that's Throwback Thursday. I think Anthony and Clark can be doing their segment. We might. I haven't quite worked out what we're going to be doing with that show yet.
We might work out the logistics. Don't worry about it.
We're going to work it out.
There is one question that I did notice before I cut you off. Somebody asked about our opinion on the Impact Multiverse United. Yes. Obviously, the card has changed a few times. Initially, I really wanted Ospreay and Josh Alexander. Now they're both injured, so that ain't happening anyway. Even if it was booked. I think it's one of those shows that probably will surprise us. Impact has been is the brand that no one expects much, but realistically, if people give it a chance, it's probably one of the best ones that's on TV. So I think it's going to be a decent show. I know we're going to be watching it because I did order the show, so we'll definitely be watching it. But so I'm hoping for a good show, like all the shows that we go to.
What day is the show?
Thursday.
Oh, nice. Thursday.
No, it's not Wednesday. Relax. You'll be able to sleep off the jet lag, so don't worry about it. Yeah. It's Thursday night. I think it's
Thursday's gonna be a busy day, but I'm hyped as anything for it, and I'm just hyped for this entire getting there WrestleMania, and we're gonna have so much content for you guys. Honestly, we're going to be doing a vlog. We're going to do a couple of vlogs, actually. I'm going to be doing one. Chaos is going to be doing one. But daily podcasts, as we're over there, don't worry. We'll be keeping this up. We're going the full year. But yeah, honestly, it's going to be fantastic time. And Clark's correcting us in the comments. Yes. Orange County, not LA. That's where Anthony and Kobe are going to be doing it from on Wednesday. So guys, make sure you check that out too. But yeah, obviously we're usually at 8 p.m. each day. Our UK time, that is that's actually now 12 p.m. Eastern. 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Too many time zones. But over the next week, check our Instagram story every day because the times will be changing slightly. Because of course, with so much on, we are going to have to just do the daily when we can fit it in. But we will be fitting it in, and turn on story notification on Instagram to find out when. But that pretty much wraps up today's show, everybody. Thank you for submitting your questions. If you want to submit your questions for next Thursday after WrestleMania, flipping heck, then not Thursday, Monday I meant. Then you can submit them by the Instagram story. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. But yeah, we'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Anthony, we'll see you in a couple of days. Thank you.